right. Hey, Vikings fans, welcome into another episode of the Skol Hop. I'm Evan.
And I'm Austin.
We're just a couple of dudes from Iowa. We like drinking beer and we like talking about the Vikings.
We do. Skol.
And you brought the beer tonight, my friend.
I did. So I brought one that I'm very fond of. And if you checked out our TikTok reviewing of this beer, our first taste, you'll know our initial thoughts. But we have from a local brewery, Five Cities Brewing, their Good Boy IPA. The can is very colorful. Lots of happy looking good boys, good puppy dogs on the can. And yeah, I like it a lot. Evan, what are you thinking after the first few sips?
Oh, I like this. It's good. It's just a straight shooter to me.
Yeah.
It's not trying to hide anything. It's just a solid, right down the middle IPA.
Yeah.
It's great.
I like to think if you like IPAs and you just kind of want like a beer, like sometimes you can describe like, you know, a Bud Light or a Coors Light or whatever. It's just like a beer. If you're just in the mood for a beer, but if you like IPAs and you're just in the mood for just an IPA, like a good, solid, not trying to do too much, this definitely fits that category for me.
Sure does.
It's just a solid IPA.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll be sipping on this as we go. And
yeah.
I'm excited. We got to pay the bills quick.
Yeah.
So we'll take care of that. Today's episode brought to you by Big Top Ventures. To get the best rates on all-inclusive resorts in Mexico and Jamaica, send an email to bigtopventuresllc@gmail.com. Again, that's bigtopventuresllc@gmail.com.
Yeah. Go ahead and do that. And let them know you heard about them on the Skol Hop. I'm not saying we have any discount deals or anything like that. Frankly, their prices are pretty good enough. I don't know if you need a specific discount deal, but I'm just interested to see how many of you guys actually reach out to Big Top.
It would make Big Top happy, and it would make us happy to know that we connected those dots.
Absolutely. So. And they're good. I mean, I'm a customer, so
yeah, it's good stuff. Coming back to the beer for a minute. We just like yesterday nailed down some plans.
Yeah.
What are those plans?
We've had the idea of these plans forever. Like ever since we said, hey, we should do a podcast where we talk about the Vikings and we drink Iowa beer. Like almost the next sentence was, oh, and we should eventually brew our own Iowa beer. And we're going to do it. That's what these plans are. So it's not going to be like a partnership with some big or established brewery or anything like that, though that would be amazing down the line someday. Shout out any Iowa brewery that would love to brew the Skol Hop beer. Friend of the show, Forrest, who is, he probably technically is under the category of like amateur home brewer if you were going to give him a label, but his beer is fantastic. Every single beer of his that he's brewed that I've had has been phenomenal, and that's not just blowing smoke. He has whipped up what I think sounds like the perfect Skol Hop beer recipe.
Yeah, I put my eyes on the recipe when he sent it to us, and I replied back like, I don't understand even 25% of what is in that beer recipe. I have zero experience brewing, but it does sound amazing.
Yep.
And I'm super excited. And I'm super excited to document it and share it with people too.
Yeah. So keep your eyes peeled. I don't know, probably within the next month or so, we'll start having content put out for the creation of this beer. I was going to kind of describe what it'll be, but I think we can kind of hold that close to the vest here.
No, we'll keep that right here until we're ready to share the Skol Hop beer with everybody.
Yeah. So we will have the recipe that Forrest has made us, and without trying it, I know it sounds delicious. I know we're going to love it. So who knows? Maybe if a big Iowa brewery wants to brew a collaboration beer, not even a collab, because the only thing we'd be bringing to the table is the recipe. Maybe in the future. But for now, we're gonna brew it in Iowa.
That's going to be fun.
Yep. And then we can drink it on the podcast.
It's going to be awesome.
I can't wait.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've decided to kind of take a little bit of a sidestep from what we've been doing. We've typically been just kind of recapping the previous week, looking ahead to the games that are coming up. And, our Vikings season ended a handful of weeks ago now.
Unfortunately.
And we're headed into Pro Bowl week this week. And if you haven't been paying attention, the Super Bowl will feature the Chiefs and the 49ers. So we're not Chiefs or 49ers fans, really. We don't have a lot to talk about that way. Although we will have something later on.
Yeah.
Featuring some conversation around that, in addition to some Viking stuff. You want to preview that quick?
Yeah, well, we had official friend of the show, Dustin Baker, came on for the second time on the Skol Hop. So, yeah, we kind of ran down we will kind of run down the championship games over this past weekend, and then some of the future big hit decisions for the Vikings. And, yeah, I mean, it's pre-recorded. I had a lot of fun with that conversation. So hopefully you guys stick around for the second half of the Skol Hop today and listen to that. And if you don't already, please follow Dustin Baker. Follow all his content. Check him out on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. He's a great Vikings. He tweets out a lot of awesome stats and puts out a lot of awesome NFL and Vikings content.
He's really level-headed. I mean, he objectively takes a look at everything and gives a realistic picture. A lot of people, including myself, sometimes, we get a little worked up. We get a little emotional.
I drink the purple Kool-Aid
about our team. And he's definitely a Vikings fan.
Oh, absolutely.
But he takes the good with the bad. He weighs it all. And I've really come to trust his voice. And anytime I see anything that he's written on Twitter or Vikings territory or anything like that, I really trust it, and I really take it to heart. So it was fun to interview him again for a second time, and hopefully we get to do it again soon. I'd love to have him on as much as possible. So we'll have that content for you in just a little bit, but we wanted to add a little bit of extra content here kind of before we jump in.
And before we move on, I do want to talk. There is a little bit of Vikings talkers around the Pro Bowl. I mean,
sure.
Initial Pro Bowl votees, people who were voted into the Pro Bowl. The Vikings just had two, Danielle Hunter and Andrew DePaula, which is awesome, but to only have two is kind of a bummer. But because the Niners advanced to the Super Bowl, their Pro Bowl fullback will not be able to participate in the games. The juice. So Vikings fullback CJ Ham.
Love that guy.
You love him so much. He's going to his second Pro Bowl, and
good for him.
It's a bummer that he was the first alternate, but it's great that he gets the opportunity to go there again, and it's still he gets to be honored with that Pro Bowl honor, which is really cool.
And there are probably a dozen more Vikings that deserve that honor.
Yeah.
Even though our season was more or less a bust.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know. We invest a lot into this, and especially now that we're talking about it on a podcast, it just makes it even more. You just want that for those guys.
Absolutely.
We spend a lot of time talking about it, and that's nothing compared to the blood, sweat, and tears they put into playing the actual games that we enjoy watching. So, you hope for more of that, and you're a little disappointed when 2/3 of those guys are the only ones that get to embrace that. So, but we'll still be cheering them on in the Pro Bowl.
Well, the Pro Bowl games, they don't even play the game anymore.
It's more or less just an honor, and I don't know. We could talk about this later on, but I think the NFL is going to have to do something about that game in particular.
Yeah.
They've tried a lot of things recently, and
this is the second or third year they haven't actually played a game.
They just do flag football,
that's what they do,
and all the skill challenges.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just like, I don't know. It seems like kind of a throwaway. I don't know, even 10 years ago, they were still playing the game.
Yeah.
Maybe with slightly altered rules and quarterbacks with different colored jerseys or whatever to try and avoid injuring people. But
there's that one year they didn't specify NFC or AFC. It was just like, you're a Pro Bowler. And then the celebrity coaches had like a draft.
That was interesting.
Yeah. Hey, I like when they try different and interesting things.
Well, I'm definitely on board with trying different things. I just don't think they've found the new solution yet. And I think they need to keep trying.
Yep.
Until they land on something. I mean, yeah, the other leagues, the other professional sports leagues don't really have much room to talk that way. I mean, pro baseball maybe is the closest to an actual game.
Yeah,
and
that actually determines something.
It kind of means, it kind of determines who gets home field advantage in the World Series.
Yeah, I think so.
Or at least it used to. I don't know if it does anymore. I don't follow baseball as closely.
Yeah, neither do I.
I know the NBA All-Star Game has definitely diminished in terms of its quality, and I know nothing about hockey, so I can't speak to the NHL All-Star Game, but
I think in hockey, or is it baseball, they like mandate at least one player from each team has to be in, which I don't love that idea, but yeah, I mean, you're right. I think the NFL has not found like the secret sauce when it comes to the perfect solution for the Pro Bowl. Because you want to have some event. I mean, especially when you're talking the NFL probably makes some revenue off of this. So you want to have some like physical event and not just like, here's a list of the best team. But I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. And regardless, I'll probably tune in for a little bit.
Yeah,
this
I
weekend
always do.
And kind of catch some of the events. It'll be fun. I am going to UNI basketball game this weekend too.
Oh, yeah, nice.
So I'll be a little preoccupied on Saturday, but Sunday I'll tune in.
Sunday.
All right. Well, we mentioned this a little bit ago, and then we kind of digressed a little bit. But
that's all right.
We decided we were gonna just take a step away from talking about just the routine Vikings week in, week out stuff.
Yeah.
And you had the idea to do some trivia.
Yeah. I think it could be cool.
I think it will be cool.
Yeah.
Not could. Will. So we've got a couple of different categories here. Yeah. And we're just going to quiz each other based on these categories.
Sounds good. I think you've got 2 for me. I've got 1 for you.
Yep.
So we'll see how this goes.
Cool. So I'll start.
Okay.
I forget which category I was doing, though.
Oh, no.
Am I doing... Let's start with... If I'm going to start and quiz you, I'll start with Madden cover athletes.
Ooh, okay. Like all of them?
How about let's do from 2000 until now.
Okay. So like when they started actually having players and not just like Madden every year.
Sure.
Yeah. I think that's... Because, I mean... we're gonna time this, so I'll wait until you time it. But I think when they did the like one of the first players, it was like in the year 2000. So,
all right, I gotta kind of get my
get your bearings.
Get my bearings here.
Do you need a pen or something? I might try to go in order. I have bought every Madden since at least 2003.
That's why I think this is a good category for you. Yeah, let me get a pen.
Okay.
Hang on, I've got one.
All right, sweet. Oh, microphone. Oh, no. That's okay. We might cut this out. Yeah. Never cut it out. No edits.
No edits. We don't edit around here.
All right. Are you ready? Are you going to give me a time limit or just time me?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Oof.
Ready?
Okay. All right.
You think you can do it in 5?
I think I can. I think I might be able to do it in 1, but I don't want to be cocky, so I'll take all 5.
4 minutes.
Oh, all right. Well,
all right. Ready? Set. Go.
All right. Most recently, Madden 24, we have Josh Allen.
Yep.
23. Oh, man. Madden 23 was John Madden himself.
Yep.
Yeah, because it was in honor of him passing. 22, I believe there were 2. Was it Mahomes and Brady?
Yep.
All right. 21. Was that Lamar Jackson?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Madden 2020. Oh, man. That wasn't Brady, was it?
It's a repeat.
Was it Mahomes?
Yes.
Okay. Madden 19. I want to say that was Madden 19. I know Gronk was in there. Gronk was 17, I believe, right?
Yep. Gronk was 17.
Okay.
You skipped 19 and 18.
Yeah. So we've got... Oh, Antonio Brown was in there too. Was he 19?
He was 19.
Okay. So I've got everything from 24 to 19, and I need Madden 18. Well, oh man. I was so confident in all of this. Okay, we'll go from I think Eddie George was Madden 2000.
01, but I'll give it to you.
Okay, okay. And then you got Dante Culpepper.
Yep.
Yeah. Do the roll. Yeah. And that was 02. So 03 was Marshall Faulk. That was my first edition of Madden. Then you had Michael Vick.
Yep.
He broke video games. You were about to take a drink of your beer, and I
was.
let you.
Right.
Madden 05 was Ray Lewis himself.
Yep.
06 was Donovan McNabb.
Yep.
07. Oof. Oh, Sean Alexander, Seahawks running back. Madden 08. Oh, man. Madden 08. Was that Titans quarterback Young?
Yep. Vince Young.
Vince Young. There you go. 09 was Favre.
Yep.
I remember that because they initially set it out as in his Packer uniform, and then they released a new cover as a Jet.
Of course.
Yep. Because that was
pre-Vikings.
Yeah, pre-Vikings. So Madden 10, I believe that was another dual year. Was that Larry Fitzgerald and Troy Polamalu?
Correct.
All right. Madden 11, which I think they renamed to Madden 25 because it was the 25th year, or was that Madden 12?
Not quite, nope.
All right. Madden 11, oh man. I don't remember. But Madden 12 I know was Barry Sanders.
No. Madden 12 was not Barry Sanders.
Oh.
This is the first one you've gotten wrong. You're doing pretty well.
I know.
You got a minute left here.
Oh, out of 4? Wow. Okay.
So I'll just tell you Madden 11, Madden 12, Madden 13, and then what would have been Madden 14 was 25.
Okay, Madden 14, which is actually Madden 25, that was Barry Sanders / Adrian Peterson.
Yes and yes.
Because they put 2 different versions out for the old gen and the new gen consoles. Calvin Johnson was in there. Was he Madden 12?
Close.
Oh, Calvin Johnson was for sure one of them. Madden 11, Madden 13.
13, there you go.
All right. Yeah.
I would never get Madden 12.
Oh, Madden 12 was Peyton Hillis.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Browns running back.
Never in a million years would I got that one.
I remember that was the year they did a fan vote. And I think technically Michael Vick won the fan vote because... Oh, jeez.
That scared the crap out of me.
Well, I didn't get it all in there, and we can talk about that. But to continue my thought, they did a fan vote, and Michael Vick, I'm pretty sure, won that fan vote because that was his first year back. He was electric with the Eagles, and people loved him. He was a fan favorite. But there was still that stink on him of the whole dog fighting stuff. So I think I've always thought Madden kind of rigged it for Peyton Hillis. All right, so which ones did I miss?
So right before Peyton Hillis, Madden 11 was Drew Brees.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that.
And then right after the 25th year anniversary, the double feature with Sanders and Peterson, Madden 15 was Richard Sherman.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that either.
Madden 16 was Odell.
Yep, okay.
Beckham Jr. And then you got 17 with Gronk, and then you didn't get 18. That was Brady again.
Oh, okay.
Tom Brady.
Okay. So Brady's been on, he was dual with Mahomes in, 22, but, so yeah, Brady's been on twice.
So yeah, you only missed 4 out of 27.
I'm happy with that. I can live with that. It's not perfect, but
I would have gotten 5. Maybe.
The amount of hours I have spent playing Madden is it's over 2,000 hours, I think, in my lifetime. Because I've been playing since, third grade? Consistently, almost every day. Yeah.
They say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert. You're well on your way.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. I'm an expert. Madden, I've never done a tournament. I should sign it up for a tournament.
I just remember playing with you in college and getting so mad every time you'd beat me because I didn't grow up playing video games, and then you would just destroy me.
Do you remember the one time we were playing in college and we were like mid-game? I don't remember which team I was. Probably the Vikings. I don't know why I would have been anything different. But you were the Patriots. And
why would I be the Patriots?
I don't know. Because you were the Vikings. And I think at the time Randy Moss was on the Patriots. And you went to the bathroom or something, and then while you were gone, me and the other guys that were in there, we swapped out your quarterback for the punter, and you didn't notice. And that's a story that's only funny to me and the couple other guys that were there, but it was hilarious. And you were getting so mad, like, why can't I complete a pass?
Is this the first time you've ever told me about that?
I'm sure I told you right then. I don't know why I wouldn't have, because we would have laughed about it right then.
I don't remember that.
But you're talking, what, over 10 years ago now?
Yeah. Good times, though.
Yeah.
Good times. It was a lot of fun. All right. What's my category?
Okay. So I think we should give you 4 minutes as well, and I can time that out over here.
I'm going to not scare the pants off of me this time. We're gonna clip that one out. That was a classic moment.
No, clip it out as in like show it to the masses and make sure everybody sees it.
It's the next viral TikTok.
All right, so the question I have for you is non-quarterback NFL MVPs. Let me repeat that. Non-quarterback NFL MVPs since the year 2000.
All right. You want my pen?
The number is so few that I think I can visually see it.
Can I get the number before?
Do you want me to tell you how many there were?
Yeah.
Okay, so
since 2000.
There are 4 of them.
Okay. Oh, crap.
And
that actually makes it harder.
Really? Okay. I could tell you the positions, but I don't think I want to. We'll see. We'll see if you need any help, because I have years, teams, and positions.
Okay.
So we'll see. I think if you need some nudging, we can play around with that. All right. Whenever you're ready, I will hit start on this 4-minute timer.
All right. I'm ready.
Okay. And go.
Well, I know one of them for sure is Adrian Peterson.
Oh yeah.
2012.
Yeah, right? There you go.
So that's 1 of 4.
Yep.
I was going to say Deion Sanders, but he was prior to 2000, right? Was he ever an MVP?
Deion? Like prime time?
Yeah.
No, he was not ever an NFL MVP.
Huh, that's surprising.
There was a different Sanders who was an NFL MVP, but not Deion.
Barry Sanders.
Yeah, but he's also not on this list of since 2000. He was earlier than that.
Okay.
So you have Adrian Peterson.
Yep. I want to say there was a defensive back. Am I getting close?
No, you're not close.
Nope. So no defensive backs.
They're all offensive players.
All offensive players. Okay. Odell Beckham Jr. No. I told you I was going to be bad at this.
You can do this, man.
I forewarned you.
You can do this.
Wide receiver. Do we have any wide receivers on the list?
I don't think I can answer that. I'm going to answer that. No.
No wide receivers?
No wide receivers on the list.
Is there another running back?
There might be.
There might. Well, Christian McCaffrey could win it this year. I mean,
he could, but I don't think he will.
Maybe not.
2.5 minutes left.
All right.
Need the music. We need the intense music here.
Oh, we'll put something under this later.
Yeah.
We can edit that in.
That's what she said. All right, 2 minutes, 15 seconds left. You can do this. You're wasting time on drinking beer.
That's not wasting
You
time.
have Adrian Peterson in 2012. All of them are prior to that.
Prior to 2012?
Yes.
Okay.
And obviously we know 2000 or later.
So between 2000 and 2011.
And I'll give you this hint.
Okay.
They're all the same position.
So they have to be running backs. Gosh.
Minute 45 left.
That's still hard. Like, I don't know.
You've heard of all of them. I know for sure I have said one of their names already this episode. Two of their names.
I'm not going to do this.
They were Madden cover athletes.
I was set up for failure.
You can do this, Evan. You can
Madden
do this.
cover athletes. Okay.
Oh, you're cheating now.
It's not cheating.
Minute 15.
I'm using my resources. Sean Alexander.
All right, there you go. Sean Alexander in 2005. Seahawks running back. So you got two of them. Adrian Pearson, Sean Alexander.
Marshall Faulk.
Marshall Faulk in 2000 for St. Louis. You got one more. Can you do this, Evan?
It's got to be Eddie George.
No, it was not Eddie George.
No.
This name I don't think we've said yet. You got the two of the names that I've said.
Faulk.
40 seconds.
Sean
This guy
Alexander,
took
Peterson.
a very famous free agent visit to the Vikings,
Very famous free agent.
but was not signed. Ended up playing for the Jets at the end of his career. And I believe he only played for two teams. All right. 15 seconds left. He played for the Chargers.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
There it is. You got it with only a lot of help.
With only a lot of hope. Yeah. Trivia is not my thing.
That's all right. That was fun.
At least NFL trivia.
And don't get scared. Oh, it just vibrated on my wrist. Okay.
That scared me still, though. All right. Well, you're the trivia master.
Oof, don't I didn't even fully get the last question right.
Well, you did way better than I did. If this were a class, you passed with an A and I got maybe a D minus.
All right. We got one more, right?
Yeah. So we're looking at most recent Pro Bowl quarterback for
every team.
Well, we could do for every team or we could just go more recent. It's up to you.
I kind of like for every team.
All right, let's do it.
Because I thought that was the original question, wasn't it?
It is the original question. I think it would be harder for me to like sort through like 2000 till now.
All right.
It'd be
So
easier to go through all 32 teams.
I'm going to try to go by division.
Okay.
So I'll tell you like, okay, for this team, blah, blah, blah. So how much time are you going to give me? That's 32 answers.
32 teams. Let's do 6 minutes.
Okay.
I'm going to turn my ringer down so I don't juke myself out of my shorts this time.
We almost had some beer coming out of my nose right there.
I almost had some beer coming out of my mouth.
You were mid-sip, weren't you?
Oof. Yeah, that was alarming. But that's okay. That's all right. All right. Oh, here we go. 6 minutes on the clock.
Okay.
Most recent Pro Bowl quarterback. All 32 teams.
Okay.
Ready? Go.
All right. So NFC North for the Vikings, Kirky Kirk.
Yep.
For the Bears, Mitch Trubisky.
Yep.
For the Lions, got to be Jared Goff.
Oh, hang on. My pen's running out of ink.
Oh no.
Mitch Kirk. Lions.
Jared Goff?
No.
Oh, Stafford then.
Yep.
Interesting. I thought he would have made it. For the Packers, that's Rodgers for sure. Okay. NFC South. For the Buccaneers, that's got to be. Well, did Baker make it this year?
I
think
know.
he was voted in this year.
But this list doesn't. Oh, yep.
Okay.
Yep. We'll give you that.
As you say,
It's
if it
on
wasn't Baker, it had to be Brady. Okay, so
Yep.
Buccaneers.
We'll give you Baker.
Saints, it's got to be Drew Brees.
Yep.
Who else? NFC South. Buccaneers, Saints, Falcons, Matt Ryan.
And Carolina.
And Carolina. Oh, man. Carolina.
You-
Cam
you-
Newton.
Yeah,
Cam
you'll
Newton.
get this one. Yep.
NFC West, Niners, Purdy. Did he make it this year? I think he was voted in this year.
Yep.
Seahawks, Geno Smith. Cardinals, Kyler Murray. And then who else is there?
Rams.
Rams. Oh, that's got to be Stafford, right?
You got your wires crossed, my friend. Stafford was the Lions.
Yeah, but he's been with the Rams for a couple of years. He hasn't been voted in yet?
Oh, yep.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
There's some additions at the bottom here that I'm not accommodating for. You're right. Stafford. So Stafford's actually the last Pro Bowl quarterback for the Lions and
the Rams. Well, in that sense, we'll go with the NFC East, which is Cowboys, Giants, Commanders, and Philly, right? So Cowboys, Dak. Giants, is it Daniel Jones? It's either him or Eli Manning.
It's Eli.
Okay, all right. For the Eagles, got to be Hurts. He definitely made it last year. And then for another dual team quarterback, Kirk made it for the then Redskins. And I think that's all of the NFC. So AFC, we're going AFC North. So for the Steelers, it would be Big Ben. For the Browns, oh man. I don't know. Okay, I'm moving on. For the Ravens, that's Lamar Jackson. And then who else is there in the AFC North? Browns, Steelers, Ravens. Bengals, that's Joe Burrow. Okay, AFC South, might need some help with this. This is Jacksonville, Indy, Houston, and who else?
AFC South would be
Jacksonville. It was Trevor Lawrence.
No.
Are you sure? I think he made it last year, didn't he?
I don't have it here.
Interesting.
So
okay.
That might not be official.
Is that Brunell then?
No.
Okay.
More recent than Mark Brunell.
Interesting. Okay. Well, anyways, moving on. For the Colts, Gardner Minshew actually just made it this year.
Yep.
For the Texans, CJ Stroud made it this year. And I'm not sure who the other team is in that division. AFC, that was the AFC South.
Did you say Houston?
I did. That's CJ Stroud.
Yes. All right. Sorry. Trying to keep up here.
Yep. How much time do I got?
2 minutes.
2 minutes left. Okay. So AFC North, South, East, AFC East. So for New England, that would have been Tom Brady. Mac Jones, he did make it. Okay. For the Dolphins, that was Tua this year. He made it. For the Bills, Josh Allen, and dang it, for the Jets. Oh man, for the Jets. It's been a minute because, was it Brett Favre? Brett Favre. Okay. So then I've got one more division and another team that I've forgotten about. AFC West. I'm not going to make this. AFC West.
Kansas City
was Pat Mahomes.
Yep.
Denver was, dang it, who was Denver? Peyton Manning?
The last time they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, okay. San Diego was Herbert.
/ LA.
Oh, sure, yeah. And then this is the Raiders, right? Derek Carr. And am I missing a whole division?
We haven't done Miami.
Miami was Tua.
That's right. You got it. Sorry, I didn't check that one off. Tennessee,
Tannehill,
yep. Right? Cleveland, Jacksonville.
Cleveland was, oh man,
2007.
07.
30 seconds.
Oh man. Oh no. Is it a name I'd remember? Is it a memorable name?
Memorable, yes. But, I mean, it's a Browns quarterback. There's like a million of them.
Man, that's true. Fries or something like that?
No.
Man, I'm not going to get this. Jacksonville, I really thought Trevor Lawrence made it, but I'm not going to make it here. Dang it.
All right. Derek Anderson.
Oh, wow.
For the Browns.
Okay, I guess, yeah, that makes sense.
And David Gerard for Jacksonville.
Oh, man, the guy, was he after Byron Leftwich?
Probably.
As their starter?
09.
We might need to double check that, because I really thought Trevor Lawrence made it. I mean, I'm okay being wrong.
I don't have Trevor Lawrence on here. So,
okay.
And this accounts for Purdy this year.
Yeah.
Baker this year with the Bucks. Gardner Minshew with the Colts this year.
All right.
So
I'll believe it. I'll believe it. I did pretty darn good. What did I get? 30 of them?
30 out of 32.
All right. That's fine.
6 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm happy with that.
That's A work, my friend. That is A work. And I'm just glad that I don't have to do another one because mine was terrible. I couldn't even get 4. Barely get 4.
That's all right.
And that was with a lot of help. So,
well, study up because I kind of like this.
All right.
We should do at least one each.
I have somewhere, and I'll have to dig this out, but I have a Vikings book somewhere.
Oh, okay. Like a history of the Vikings?
And I also have some like Vikings trivia cards or something.
Oh.
Somewhere. So in a future episode, we might have to dig that out and quiz each other.
For sure. We also have the internet too. We can do a little kind of like we did here. Little, not research, prep for the show. There we go.
Yeah. Well, that was fun and kind of a fun way to break things up a little bit. Now that the Vikings season is over, the NFL season's nearly over, we're just trying to find some new ways to interact, have some good content out there. So we've got some really good ideas.
Yeah, we've got some things
coming up. Brewing.
Last week we talked a lot about Iowa breweries and definitely made known that we're interested in doing a tour. So that's something we're going to try to figure out. Summer tour. Yeah,
one of these days we're gonna take you, the Skol Hop family, with us.
Skol Hoppers.
On a little tour of some breweries around Iowa.
Yeah.
And we're excited for that. So that's in the works. We're still in the very early planning phases of all of that, but we're excited for that. We're excited to brew the Skol Hop beer. That's also coming up here pretty soon. And we have a lot more in the hopper, so to speak, coming up. So tune in, check us out, and share away.
Yeah.
If you've got somebody out there that's, even if they're not a Vikings fan.
Yeah, we love just talking football too. So like, even if the world's biggest Packer fan was like, "Hey, I'll come talk about the Packers." Like, yeah, we'll talk about how the Vikings are better than the Packers. No, but we like to talk about football. Friend of the show, Forrest, he's a Bears fan. He's not even a Vikings fan. So
I've had him on a couple times.
Yep.
And we haven't kicked him off yet. In fact, he's going to help us brew the beer. So
and hopefully come on. He's a big college fan, so maybe he could be a good resource for draft time, which is coming up faster. I mean, we're already in February. So, yeah. Well,
speaking of that, we're going to transition into kind of our segment with Dustin Baker here in a second. And in addition to many other things, Dustin did kind of give us his thoughts on who the Vikings should pursue.
Yeah, or at least what they should do, at least quarterback-wise, this whole March/April/early off season.
Yeah. So stick around and catch some of that. We think it's pretty good content. And again, we're just thrilled that Dustin Baker would join us and let us share our conversation with him. So we'll jump into that, and then we'll catch up with you all when we're done with that.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Skol Hop. So we have, for the second time ever, our, I guess, second guest ever that we've ever had. We still haven't gotten past 2. We need to get past 2. So you may remember, Mr. Dustin Baker from Vikings territory. You know him on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it these days, at Dust Baker. And of course on the YouTube stuff at Vikes Now, and we'll give him a chance to say anything I forgot. But welcome back to the Skol Hop, Dustin. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be back on. I had a blast the first time. If you guys want any more Vikings writers, come on, let me know. I got a whole plethora of them at Vikings.
Send them our way.
I shall. Trust me, they'll be hungry to do it. Yes, it is awesome to be back. We've had a couple developments since then. We had the end of a sad regular season, and I'm anxious to get into that with you guys tonight. Now we have a Super Bowl matchup around the bend, so let's get to it.
Yeah. So we just kind of finished watching the championship games this past weekend. just a few days ago, I guess. So yeah, I guess I was kind of surprised by a couple of things. I thought the Ravens would do a lot better. I was surprised at the Lions' big first half. Dustin, any big surprises from championship round for you?
Yes. So the meltdown of catastrophic fashion for the Lions, that actually surprised me. I think that I ended up like most Lions fans at about 7 p.m. I was emotionally accepting that. I was like, my goodness, the Lions are going to the Super Bowl. And even I didn't envision a total collapse like that. It turned out by the numbers, it was the largest collapse in NFC Championship history. And I swear to God, if I said this on Twitter, I'm going to reiterate it here in person, that if you would have told me on December 1st, hey, homie, you can have the Vikings finish 7-10, or they can go to the NFC Championship and lose a 24-7 lead, I would have said, give me 7-10 in the draft pick. I don't want anything to do with losing a 17-point lead when I have got to the point where I'm like, we are doing this. We are going to the Super Bowl. So the Lions meltdown really surprised me. And a part of that is that they were so dominant in the first, hour and 15 minutes. And then on the AFC side, I really bought into the Ravens and that this being Lamar's one big year. If you follow histrionics of football, if you assume that Lamar is kind of like Cam Newton, Lamar doesn't have a whole lot of elite years left. I think everybody knows that he's not a absolutely fantastic passer. He's good, but he's not a guy that can sit back and cook in the pocket when he gets to be like 34, in my opinion. And I thought all of the stars were aligning. Mahomes is on the road. The Ravens defense is so damn formidable. I thought, all right, nobody wins the Super Bowl back to back. I thought the Ravens are really going to do the thing this year. It's kind of how I felt about the Milwaukee Bucks 2 summers ago. And I was like, this is Giannis' year. I was like, he's going to get at least one, and this one's going to be it. So I had the same feeling with Lamar, but I was dreadfully wrong. So now, but I am excited to watch this Super Bowl. I always cheer for the AFC team when it's never the Vikings, but in theory, if it were the Vikings, I always just end up cheering for the AFC team, and this year is no different. I know the Chiefs kind of have this Yankees vibe now where people decide they don't like them anymore, but I do appreciate the greatness in action. So, and I'm not betting against Mahomes again. I've done it 2 weekends in a row, at least making a prediction, and I'm not doing it again. And they're underdogs by like a point. When are we ever going to learn? When will we learn?
They're 2 points currently, 2-point underdogs as of right now.
Is it? My goodness.
Yeah, that'll probably change. Although if it hasn't changed yet, I mean, because I think it opened at like 2.5 points, so I guess it's kind of moving towards them. But yeah, I agree with you. The Ravens, I thought were going to do it. Listeners of the Skol Hop will know that I've been saying for a few weeks now that the Ravens are the team to beat this year. I really thought they were going to be the ones to dominate through. And I think you made a good point about Lamar, where he's not a big, heavy passer. They put up his stats at the beginning of the championship game of the divisional round game, and he had something like 150-ish yards passing and 100 yards rushing. I think 4 total touchdowns, and they were saying that was a great game, and it is. But like, you think like a quarterback to have a great game, he's got to have like 300 yards passing or something. I was surprised by the passing numbers.
His deal, and I've watched this now, evaluating quarterbacks, especially in the last decade, is he doesn't throw outside the numbers as crisp as a pocket passer does. This was Joshua Dobbs' problem, but Lamar is better than Joshua Dobbs at passing, and he's faster. But why do we think like, oh boy, Lamar's only, I only really think he's got 3 seasons left at this elite level to do the thing. Because when you start to look, it's like, this is why Teddy Bridgewater never latched on as a long-term QB1, is because they don't throw it to the sidelines efficiently outside the numbers. And Lamar does it well, but he doesn't do it like the category we want him to live in with Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. And so I think that's the difference. And then mind-boggling, they just decided, hey, we're not doing our bread and butter. We're not running the football this game. You have to wonder what on earth?
I don't get it.
So, Dustin, do you think the Ravens losing affects the MVP voting? Because I think going into the championship weekend, Lamar was kind of the favorite MVP. What are your thoughts that way?
Well, it's always been my understanding that voting is either already done or it is a blanket on the regular season only. So I'm pretty sure those votes have already been submitted. So it will be a little awkward on award night, February, what is it, next weekend or something, where we're like, yay, Lamar Jackson MVP. And we're like, what? I thought by the numbers, Josh Allen should have won MVP. I mean, he had like, what was it? I think 13 more touchdowns, the same amount of all-purpose yards. Of course, he has those Nick Mullins like interceptions that were all like, oh yeah, Josh being Josh. But the way that he, with an injured defense, dragged the Bills to the postseason from the brink of elimination, I thought statistically and for reputation's sake, we were looking for an excuse for the last 3 years to give the MVP to Allen. I thought it should have been him to begin with. But the world, I think, was fascinated with Lamar. Most of us thought they were going to get to the big game. So I would assume that those votes were already cast, and I think Lamar still gets it because, for better or worse, it's a regular season award. The same goes for the NBA.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess I've only ever thought about when they announce the award, not necessarily when the votes are cast. So I'm not sure. It would be cool to know all of that because I know it's writers, right? Like the select few writers that get a vote, but I'm not sure when they get to choose that. But that's a good point.
Sure it's down the stretch of like week 18, and I'll stand corrected, but I'm pretty sure the playoffs have no bearing whatsoever. That's why it's always so weird. Yeah. This happens in basketball a lot, where you're like, God, that guy won MVP, and Steph Curry was the best player this year. Or hey, don't get me started on LeBron not winning MVP for like 12 years now in a row. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I digress.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess I think it sounds like you were pretty surprised, at least by both of the losing teams, the Ravens and the Lions, especially after that meltdown of the Lions. Usually when we reference a tweet of yours on our show, you're not actually listening to us live make that reference. But you did make a tweet at some point during the first half that, hey, everybody, you now need to be emotionally prepared for the Lions to not only get to, but win the Super Bowl. And then I think you called yourself out on that for the old takes exposed.
Oh, yeah. I went back to look at some of the tweets I had during the championship weekend. And yeah, that point, I mean, if anybody cares, that was my reflection point. I was like, the Lions are going to Super Bowl. Yeah. If they can do this to the 49ers, they can for damn sure do it to the Chiefs. And I was like, I cannot believe that this team we've beaten on for 63 years is going to do this before us. Then the world restored to order, and we're like, oh, okay, this is why you have never gone there in the first place. But yeah, I totally thought in my bones that the Lions were at least going to get there. And then when I read it back, that was like vintage old takes exposed. That guy should have retweeted it 8 times. It was such a bad take in the heat of the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so of the 2 losing teams, the Ravens and the Lions, who do you think has the best chance to make it back, maybe next year, maybe the year after, make it back to the championship round, even the Super Bowl?
Well, I believe the shine will wear off the Lions a little bit. There's always kind of that sophomore slump, whether it's a rookie quarterback or a team in general. So this doesn't mean the Lions are like, hey, they're going 6-11 next year. Now, I think Dan Campbell aptly said after the game, and I can't believe he said that. He was like, this may have been our only shot. I was like, Jesus, how was a player going to hear that and be like, oh, yay, why do I even come to work anymore? But I think the Lions will be good. But in terms of how they got to the NFC Championship, I think it'll be hard to replicate. And as a Vikings fan, I am content with Jared Goff being their quarterback for the next 10 years because this is what I wanted the Packers to get. I want them to have a good quarterback because I know that's kind of the way it goes. Mm-hmm. And then that's it. I don't want them to have Aaron Rodgers, 45 touchdowns and 6 picks. I want them to have a guy who's pretty good. I think this is how the rest of the world feels about us with Kirk Cousins, by the way.
Right.
I don't agree with it, but I think this is what the world thinks. So I think with Goff, you're never going to have a guaranteed warrior to drag you to the promised land. But if everything else is pretty damn spiffy, then, hey, they're going to go 11-6. Maybe they'll have a good playoff matchup and they'll get to the NFC Championship. That's how I view them. And on the Ravens, I'm still high on them. It really surprised me that they laid an egg like they did. And I trust, let's see, which one is it? John Harbaugh to right the ship and probably get closer to their final destination this year. Next year, but I won't be surprised at all by either one. Both teams have the trenches built well, and we can analyze, quarterbacks and running backs all we want. But a lot of times football just boils down to who has the best offensive and defensive line.
Yeah, for sure. I had a point. I forgot what I was going to say, but it must not have been that profound. But yeah, I think Evan and we tend to agree kind of with your thoughts on that. Um, I think you mentioned the Packers and their quarterback situation. I think the jury's still out a little bit on Love. He kind of finished the year off pretty good, but I think I hope he's probably in that Jared Goff territory where he's going to win some games, but he's not going to. And I think he kind of proved it in the playoffs. He's not going to take the Packers all the way to the promised land either.
Not yet. That's the fearful part. Is it depends on how you look at him. Is he a first year quarterback, or is he going to be what, a fourth or fifth year guy? Yeah, he's certainly in that game against the Cowboys. His EPA CPOE was off the charts, like one of the best playoff performances ever. And for that week, we're like, of course, they just found the next guy. But they had a lot of quiet turds throughout the year, the Packers. And if you like them or whatever, you always just kind of ignore those. That Giants game on Night Football came to mind when the Vikings were kind of still in it. We're like, hey, Packers, we need them to lose the Giants, and boom, they did. So yeah, right now the scary part of Love, I didn't enjoy seeing how good he can get at his peak. But then in those bad games, and then hilariously with the game on the line, he looked exactly like Rodgers and Favre.
Oh yeah, the frame for frame.
Yeah. Oh man,
interception.
it was nuts. I would say I would be more fearful of. I certainly would be more fearful of Love's possible ascension and development than Jared Goff, because you have to remember Jared Goff in the 2019 or 2020 season, it was like a joke. There was a wild card game, I recall vividly, where the Rams were going into, I think they're playing the Seahawks or something. And it was like, hey, Goff's not going to play. He's got a bad wrist or something. And everybody's like, oh, okay, they got Johnny Wolford. No big deal. Nobody cared that Goff was out. They were all like, go to Wolford. It doesn't matter. And that's when I realized, all right, Jared Goff isn't quite the next big thing. And then he's fit in well with the Lions. And I think he does pretty damn good. But he's just, since we lived with Rodgers for so long, if I see a divisional foe have a quarterback who's right, maybe, 10th, 11th best guy in football, not the third or the second, I'll take it. I'm not going to get greedy. And that's just because of 30 years of Rodgers and Favre with the Packers.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and I guess to put this topic to bed a little bit, my personal hope for Love is that maybe he has one more decent year and then they give him this absorbent contract and hundreds of millions of dollars, and they really double, triple, quadruple down on him. And then he starts to lay the egg and he shows who he really is, a la Russell Wilson in Denver. Like that would be great.
Yeah. And he's I don't know when they have to lock that in. If that
it's
has
soon,
to be this
I think.
offseason, probably this offseason, if his agent's been patient enough, my goodness. But yeah, he's going to get one of those 4 years, 200 million. And then we just have to hope that he's not absolutely elite and generational like the last two bastards were.
Switching gears a little bit, more of a Vikings focus now. I think the news has been dominated this week with Kirk Cousins and his contract. And I mean, ever since the Vikings season ended, that's been kind of the big topic. And I think it's the most important thing that the Vikings have to figure out in this offseason is what happens at the quarterback position and what happens with Kirk Cousins specifically. He came out, or I guess the rumor came out. I don't know if he said this directly, but the rumor is that he wants $45 million a year, $90 million over 2 years, fully guaranteed. Is that realistic for the Vikings? Are they going to sign a contract like that and then try to fit the pieces around that, or are they going to let him walk in free agency and see what else they can do in the draft or whatever else they can find?
I would not want them to take the plunge at 2 years, 90 million. If this was 2 years ago and Kirk was 33, 34, I'd be like, yep, he deserves it. That's fair market value. But I'm paranoid about an age-related decline because they'll show up. Matt Ryan, what was Roethlisberger, about 37, 38. Don McNabb was cooked by 33. So we watched LeBron and Rodgers and Brady play until they're 40, and in Brady's case, 45. And we're like, this is the new way, baby. No, this is goats that do that. And so with Cousins, I don't think anybody thinks he's a goat. So I am personally paranoid about giving him that much. Now, the report came from Pioneer Press's Charlie Waters, and he said the buzz is that Cousins is going to want 2 years, 90 million. So, I mean, that's basically just, a rumor. We've been on an odyssey with him in the last 3.5 weeks. It's been hey, will he take a hometown discount? Then he got in front of reporters and said structure is the most important thing to him for this contract, which basically is code for I want more than 1 year. When you talk about structure, there's no debate if it's just 1 year. And then he was on with Isabel Gonzalez and said, yeah, I'd love to pay for Bill Belichick. Who wouldn't? And then Belichick wasn't hired with the Falcons. So he seems more receptive, or at least his representation is saying, hey, get out there and scare the Vikings a little bit more than ever. He used to get mad when you bring up other teams. Remember the trade deadline when they're like, hey, Kirk, what would you think about a trade? And he was like,
yeah, no.
Yeah, he's like, next question. He said something to the effect. He was about as ticked as you'll ever see Cousins get in front of a camera.
Yep.
So I believe that the Vikings probably want that sweet spot hometown discount that we talk about, which is like 35 million instead of 45 million. And again, merely speculation. I have no insight or intel. I'm going to guess that Kwesi has something that's like 2 years, 70 million. You'd take it or you leave it. You let us know because we're moving on if you don't want it. And I just keep getting back to it will be really, really, really weird if this progressive, analytics focused, collaborative regime is going to attach their job security to Kirk Cousins. Now, I really like Kirk Cousins just as much as I love Sam Bradford and Dante Culpepper. I liked those dudes a lot. But at age 36, coming off, this isn't like a sprained ankle. This is a torn Achilles. I don't think it's in the Vikings' interest to give him that much guaranteed. And let's face it, this is 6 years into this experiment. When do we ever take a step back and say, this hasn't worked? Before I came into this Vikings writings career, I was a manager. I was a project manager, a district manager, a retail manager. And you always had to change things. You couldn't, even if you had the best idea ever, at some point you have to switch it up. And especially with the Vikings, you've made the postseason twice in 6 years. The guy's getting older and older. He's depreciating. I firmly believe unless they're absolutely convinced in their heart of hearts they can win the Super Bowl with Cousins, I would rather do the bold thing and trade up and get the quarterback that they've identified that they loved. I don't think the Vikings will sign on for 2 years and 90 million. I think they would sign on for 2 years and 70 million.
Yeah, I could see that. I could get behind that. I think it was today you had a really good article on Vikings territory about that rumor, the 2 years, 90 million, and that.
Yeah, that's basically where this diatribe came from.
Yeah. Well, and if I remember, I read it this morning, but if I remember right, you basically said like, yeah, Kirk's probably worth it, but probably not worth it for the Vikings at
he
that
absolutely
number.
Is worth it. If Daniel Jones set the market at 40 million for a middle of the road quarterback, you better believe Cousins is worth 45. But that doesn't mean the Vikings have to spring for it. We have a documented track record of how he fits within this team, and there's always something wrong when he's quarterback. It's usually not him. But if the defense is cooking, then the offense sucks. If the defense or if he's cooking, then Jefferson's hurt. Addison's emerging. Oh, then Cousins gets hurt. There's always something awry. And my biggest, I don't know if we're getting into this later. The thing that affects my decision making most on formulating this opinion is I want the rookie quarterback guy. If it's Drake May, Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, I want him to start in this offense now. So that, Jordan Addison has 4 years left. They only own him beyond that. Jefferson's going to sign a deal. It's probably going to be 4 years, 130 million. And then TJ Hawkinson's going to be 28. I feel like we have this precious 4 years with all of these sweet ass offense pieces. I want the rookie quarterback to start developing now so that when we get to 2025 and 2026, those can be our Super Bowl window. If we re-up with Cousins, we're not going to see the rookie guy until 2026 or so. And then you only got 2 years to get it right. And in all likelihood, the rookie quarterback guy isn't going to go 13-4 and go win a Super Bowl his first year starting. So I would rather, with all of these offensive weapons, while they're still in this contractual window, I want that guy to start learning on the job now rather than, all right, well, maybe we'll win it with Kirk. That's my personal take.
Would you
I can see that.
Would you be more in favor of just handing the keys over to one of those rookies and just saying, yeah, let's figure this out over the next couple of years rather than trying to do what the Packers have done historically, bring in the rookie, let him sit behind the veteran for a couple of years and then get rid of the vet and see what happens from there?
I wanted them to do that 2 years ago, and they decided not to. But thank God they didn't draft a quarterback from that 2022 draft class because it was not good. The only one that was worth a damn was Brock Purdy, and who would have known that? So ideally, you would have had the guy, sitting and waiting and hopefully ready for this moment. But they tried that with Kellen Mond. No good.
Oh yeah.
I guess Jaron Hall is still a wait and see. But yeah, I would if that's the decision that they make, like, you know what, we want Cousins back. We've come to an agreement for 2 years, $80 million. And by the way, we're also drafting JJ McCarthy. I will be very excited about it. But the scenario that I drew up is my holy grail is that they tell Cousins goodbye. We really appreciated it. And then they make a bold, splashy trade to go get, for me, Drake May. Because I keep telling myself between the Commanders and the Patriots, one of those teams is going to realize, you know what, we're not a quarterback away from doing very well. And I think one of those teams will say, God, we can get 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders off the Vikings. And then, we'll do what we have to for this year. We'll take our lumps, and then we're going to have draft capital bonanza. We can go get Arch Manning and a couple, all those possibilities are limitless. So my endorsement is hell or high water, trade up to get Drake May. That's my first one. And I could be talked into Jaden Daniels depending on how his combine guy. The only thing about Daniels that scares me is he might be a little slight in the frame. I don't know if he'll be as durable as we hope that some of these running quarterbacks are, mobile quarterbacks, excuse me.
Yeah. So I was going to ask who your guy would be if they did go up and draft. Yeah.
Yeah. Last year, I have this in print. It was CJ Stroud. When I watched all of it, I try to figure out which guy absolutely will not be the bust because I don't want to be stuck with that guy. And I don't want to be wrong about it from an analyst perspective. And I kept coming back to CJ Stroud because he wasn't 25 like every quarterback was last year in the draft. Yeah. He just looked so damn poised at Ohio State. And then the other intangibles where he's played in ginormous games for Ohio State. And then he did both. He could scramble out of the pocket when you needed him to. I swear we watch every playoff game between Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and when it's 3rd and 8, they're taking off and running. And we need a guy who can do that if we want to keep up with, all these teams that you strive to be. So last year, my endorsement was to trade the farm for CJ Stroud. I wrote that when it was still kind of that Stroud could possibly fall to 4 or 5. He ended up going 2. But yeah, right now, Drake May is the guy that I've circled. I would be content with Jaden Daniels. And then the other ones, you can just hang tight and draft at 11 or trade back, whether it's Penix or McCarthy. I wouldn't just say necessarily, yeah, let's go with Penix and that's the guy, because then I will fully expect like a 4-13 season while he warns. I think Drake May, if we're right about his scouting report, could probably bring them closer to 500 in his first year. And we'd call that, a great season with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah. Well, I trust you. I believe in your thoughts, so I'm going to steal your thoughts and
do it.
May all the way.
The Drake May stuff. It's really cool. His arm is there. He's like Josh Allen, that there's no drop off when he tucks it and runs. It's not some old white guy who looks really slow. Like he actually looks like he knows what he's doing. And this is all assuming, by the way, that Caleb Williams is going number 1 no matter what. We have a long way to go in the draft lead up, so there's a chance that Caleb Williams does something funky or everybody falls in love with Drake May. And a lot of these thoughts will apply to Caleb Williams. But in terms of realism, I think trading up for Drake May with the Commanders, maybe the Patriots, I think that can be done by the Vikings. You just have to be willing to give up probably 2 firsts and 2 seconds.
I mean, if you're making the bold move, you got to make the bold move and have the cojones to do it. So yeah, if they draft one, what are your thoughts on the idea of like a bridge quarterback? And who could that realistically be if they do go that route?
So I grew up with those. I'm 40 years old now, and you never started a rookie quarterback. I think I told you guys on the last show, maybe I didn't. In 3 years I lived in Houston, Texas, and they drafted Steve McNair. That team was so bad, and they absolutely refused to put his ass in ever. And we had season tickets through my stepdad's job. And so we'd go and we'd just boo the Oilers for not playing Steve McNair. Ever since then, I have been totally turned off by the idea of bridge quarterbacks. I think they're stupid. Like, thankfully the NFL has caught on. Like, you don't really need them anymore unless the guy is terribly raw. Like, let's say Jaron Hall was our big inspired plan at the beginning of the season. You would have needed a bridge quarterback for him. But if you're going to draft one of these guys in the top 10, maybe even getting away with it, Penix at 11, I'd rather them just go ahead and start the guy out of the gate. Baker Mayfield's going to deserve like 30 million at a minimum for what he did. So, I mean, you might as well keep Cousins if you're going to do that. I mean, a Jacoby Brissett, I guess. But to me, Nick Mullins, if you absolutely want to do the bridge quarterback, just do that with him. The narrative on Nick Mullins, the narrative with Nick Mullins would have been 100% different if the Brian Flores defense didn't die the moment Mullins stepped foot on the field. Like that fourth quarter against the Bengals, like a week after I talked to you guys, we were all high on the Vikings defense, and then it just stopped being good. I will say for the rest of my life to anybody that cares, Nick Mullins would have had his own Joe Flacco story if the Vikings defense didn't just, because Flacco was throwing picks too, but nobody cared because they were winning. So Nick Mullins is like one of the most fun backup quarterbacks I've ever seen. It's 3rd and 28. Oh, that's cool. Mullins will get it. Like with Cousins, you'd be like, oh God, there's no way we're getting this. But Mullins was such a, erratic gunslinger. I really wish that the defense would have been sufficient while he was playing, because then he wouldn't have had to been that greedy on a lot of those weird passes. So if the Vikings said, you know what, we're doing a bridge quarterback thing, I would say you might as well just do it with Nick Mullins. Otherwise you could even bring Dobbs back for a couple weeks if you want to just, get the guy into the door. But yeah, I don't have any interest in going and spending 20-30 million on a bridge quarterback. You might as well keep Kirk.
Yeah, I guess that's a point. And I think it may have been a throwaway comment you made a little bit ago, but I think you kind of hit the nail on the head on what the quote unquote hometown discount would realistically be for the Vikings. I think you said 2 years, $80 million. That's probably closer to realistic than anything else.
Yeah, I got really spooked when that conversation started about 2 weeks ago. They, put it in quotes, hometown discount. And I think there's still fans who think that means 2 years and 20 million or so. No, a hometown discount would be 2 years and 70 million, especially in Cousins his greatest attribute is being the shrewd businessman. And here we are in the 12th season, is going to be 13th of his career, that we're thinking that he's going to suddenly start taking hometown discounts. The only guy that ever does that is Tom Brady. And we assume that the other quarterbacks should do it. So when I saw the latest buzz that Cousins wants 2 years and 90 million, so I was like, there he is. That's the Kirk that we know and love. He's going to get his guaranteed cash. The other one that's intriguing, and it'll make a lot of you listeners and viewers roll your eyes, is Russell Wilson. And it's not because I want Russell Wilson on the Vikings. It's because he will be certifiably cheap. If he were to sign a big deal, all of his guaranteed money from the Broncos is offset and nullified. So he has a vested interest in signing a small deal with some team so he can keep that Broncos guaranteed cash. So anytime you've ever seen, Russell Wilson to the Vikings, it's not because people think he's the solution. It's that if you want a bridge quarterback, he's going to be crazy cheap. Like we're talking like vet minimum cheap.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that kind of would change my thought process on that a little bit, but not too much. Yeah, I guess we're coming down to some of the things that I had written down. I did want to do something kind of fun before we were done talking to you today, Dustin. I wanted to do just a totally unfair, not holding you to this opinion at all, but a way too early record prediction for the Vikings in 2024. We know who the opponents will be when they're home and away, except for that London game, which I think will technically be a home game, just in London. So yeah, this is unfair, and this won't come back to bite you anywhere. It's just the internet. What's your record prediction for the Vikings next year?
Okay, well, because this is outrageous, I'm going to have twofold. If they do the proverbial run it back with Cousins, I believe they will be 10-7. This is assuming that he's healthy. I think they'll be about 10-7, and who knows what that gets you. Hopefully a playoff win. If they endorse my plan, I sound like I'm running for senator here. If they endorse my plan, which is trade up and get Drake May, I think you're looking at 7-10, 6 or 11, but we'll be really happy with that because you'll see the growth from that quarterback. So let's say, if they rip off the Band-Aid and said we're going with somebody non-Cousins, I think it will be an exciting 7-10 type of year. If they go back with Cousins, which I will get behind, we'll talk after that deal's done, and I'll sound like a different guy. I'll be like, we can do it, baby. Then I'll say, it's 10-7, 11-6, because I am of the rare minority opinion. I don't think this defense is as horrible. Like, you saw on Vikings Twitter, well, we need to revamp this defense and get all these new people. This defense was absolutely fabulous for like 10 games in the middle of the season. And I'm convinced that it just needs some reinforcements. I don't think this is assuming you bring Danielle Hunter back, but I don't think it's just this shitty thing that's macabre all of a sudden. I think, hey, this thing, the luck ran out in December, and I'm convinced that the defense has young building blocks. And yeah, hopefully you sign an edge rusher like Bryce Huff. That's the guy I want from the Jets. Hopefully you get an impact defensive tackle. I've been asking for that for 10 years, and they always say, nope, we're getting Shamar Stephen, or hey, we're getting Jonathan Bullard. They always get some guy you've never heard of to play that position. So I'd like them to beef up the defensive trenches. Yes, that's my offseason vision, is trading up for the quarterback that they like and then adding defensive pieces, but not a complete overhaul panic-wise.
Awesome. Yeah, I could see how Kirk would be the best chance to win the most games in 2024, or 2024, which I think is what you're saying. If you're trying to win the most games this coming season, Kirk's the best chance. But
yeah,
for the future,
the reason that I don't have this gung-ho Kirk or we die mindset, that there still is a lot of Kirk guys and gals that don't want him no matter what. The Vikings were 4-4 when he got hurt. If they were 7-1, I'd be right there with you. I'd be like, oh my God, how did we lose Kirk? It was our year. But they were 4-4. And so we are in there. I mean, yeah, they were without Jefferson, but they started winning games when Jefferson went down. So I believe that because they were only 500 at the time of his injury, that has brought me back to that, like, God, what if they start 4-4 again in 2024? I'm just a little spooked. If they were 7-1, 8-0, 6-2, I think we'd have an entire different conversation, because we would have felt like we were this close and we got robbed because Cousins' Achilles blew out.
All right, Evan, you got anything else? Any last minute tidbits?
I was just looking over here because I've got ESPN pulled up. Real quick, you got a Super Bowl prediction for us, Dustin?
Yeah, I was so disappointed because my preseason one was Ravens over 49ers, and I was like, yes, I got it right. I am absolutely done betting against the Chiefs. I'm not a big bettor besides fantasy football, but prediction-wise, I picked the Bills because I was like, all right, if the Bills are ever going to do it, it's going to be this game. This is their chance. And then I applied that same damn logic to the Ravens, and I'm getting just tricked into not believing into what the Chiefs can do when their backs are up against the wall. So I'm going to take the Chiefs over the 49ers, but I think it will be close. I think the Chiefs will probably win by 3 to 6 points. So let's say Chiefs 30-24 over the 49ers. I am really scared by Brock Purdy in certain moments of games. I know the QB wins crowd thinks that he's elite, but in that divisional round game, let's see, who did they beat the Packers. I swear to God, there was an hour he couldn't complete a single pass. I was even turning to my friends saying they need to put in Sam Darnold, man. This is it. You got to complete a pass in order to win this game. And ultimately, he kind of figured it out in that final drive. So I am skittish that Brock Purdy, I don't think, is this, kingmaker. I think he's along for the ride, and good for him. He's played quite well. It's just a joke to me that we want to, he'll be in everybody's power rankings in the top 5 this summer. It's going to drive me nuts.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I can get behind that prediction. That's a pretty solid prediction. I don't think it's going to offend anybody. I mean, maybe Niners fans, but
yeah. Well, they got to know it. They got to know it in their heart of hearts too. Like, I don't give a shit if Purdy's good or not, but I'm watching that game and he looked like a moron. He looked like Kellen Mond for like an hour. Like, he just couldn't complete a pass. He looked completely ill-equipped to be a quarterback. And then I can't remember exactly how they turned around, but in the fourth quarter, much to like, we were like, come on. All that paranoia I had about the Lions, I had the week before with the Packers. I was like, oh my God, they're going to beat the Cowboys on the road and they're going to beat the 49ers on the road. But yeah, give me the Chiefs by 6, and you'll finally have a repeat Super Bowl champion for the first time in 20 years.
Awesome. Yeah, that's crazy. All right. Well, before we wrap up, you plugged some things last time you were with us, but anything else you want to plug, or you want to plug the same kinds of things? You're kind of everywhere. Where can our listeners find you?
Vikes Now is the YouTube channel. I record about 5 episodes per week. I'm working with a dude named Tyler Ireland. He writes for Daily Norseman, and I invited him on as a guest a couple months ago, and he was great, and I invited him to stay, and he loves doing a lot of behind the scenes work, getting a lot of cool guests. So that's where you can see me on video, and then on Vikings territory, I write on there all day, every day, every nook and cranny about the team. And I will just leave on this note that at the top of the show, Evan was correct. The only thing that matters right now about the Minnesota Vikings is, well, what he said was everything starts with Kirk, and, you know, depending on what they do, then they move forward in the offseason, which is totally correct. But the only thing that matters about Vikings football between now and the next 5 years is whether or not they get the quarterback selection right.
All right. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us as we got another chance to interview Dustin Baker. I had a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Talking to him.
He's a good guy. Yeah, I like that dude.
Yeah. So hopefully, it sounds like we'll be able to get him back on the show soon.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, Dustin has an open invitation to come on our show. So I think so we got some things brewing there again. So that'd be a lot of fun to have him back.
Yeah. And we're not just a podcast. We're on the socials.
Yeah.
We're out there.
Yeah. We are the Skol Hop worldwide. So, I mean, really, if you just if you go to Google or your favorite search engine and you just type in the Skol Hop, you'll find our website, theskolhop.com. You'll find Twitter. You'll find Instagram. You'll find TikTok. We're on Facebook. I mean, we're on Reddit, which we haven't really done anything with. So sorry if you've tried to reach out to us on Reddit. We just haven't looked at it. I mean, YouTube, we're everywhere. So yeah, check us out. Socials everywhere. Obviously, anywhere you can find any podcast whatsoever, we're probably there.
You think Ask Jeeves would yield any results for the Skol Hop?
It's worth a try. If you find us on Ask Jeeves, let us know. I'm very interested.
I might just switch my browser or my search engine to Ask Jeeves for a week just to see what happens.
I bet it's not active anymore. Or you can Google bought it. I'm sure.
You can go through the web archive. There's a way.
There might be a Google skin for Ask Jeeves or something. I don't know. Is that even a thing?
I don't know.
But yeah, we're out there. You'll find us. 25 episodes in now. So
there you go. And 25 different beers.
Yeah. We've doubled up on breweries a couple of times, but
never the same beer twice.
Yeah. So, and speaking of doubling up on breweries, I think very early on we had 5 Cities Swifty Hippie.
We did,
which was probably their more staple IPA.
Yep.
And again, to reiterate, we've got the 5 Cities Good Boy IPA. And Evan really took to this one. He immediately before he tried it, he was showing love and affection to that one. So
you have to check out the TikTok for that content, though.
So other than the name and can, what do you think of this beer?
I liked it. I said this at the beginning, and I mean, many, many more sips in. Just reiterate, it's straightforward. It doesn't mess around. It doesn't pretend to be something that it's not.
Yeah. It's just a solid just IPA.
Like a good boy would be. Yeah. Just like a good dog, right? It just doesn't mess around. He's there. He's loyal.
Like you ever have a bad day and you come home and your dog's so happy to see you and it just kind of brightens your day a little bit. This is the beer equivalent to that. Like a bad day or a good day, whatever. Come home and man, the Good Boy IPA is so happy to see you.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. So much so that during the Dustin Baker interview, I finished and poured another one. So
no, it just magically filled up between now and then.
Oh man, can you imagine? 5 Cities. If you have a magic football beer glass, let me know. I don't know how much I would pay for that, but probably more than I should.
That might get us in trouble.
Might.
We're good with the 4-pack of Tall Boys for now.
Yeah.
And it was delicious. And we'll definitely be back for some more 5 Cities. So, yeah. Well, we'll wrap this up for today. And again, we've got some exciting things on the horizon. So tune in, check us out. Share away if you've got somebody that's interested in football, beer, or just likes to listen to a couple of dudes from Iowa who are chill and have fun talking about those things. Share us with them. We'd love to share our content with more people. So,
yep, our audience hasn't quite found us yet. You're out there. Find us.
yep. You will. You will.
All right, man. Till next time.
Skol.
Skol.
Hey Vikings fans, Evan here from the Skol Hop, and we just wanted to say thank you again so much for listening to the Skol Hop, and we also wanted to take one more opportunity to let you know that this episode of the Skol Hop has been brought to you by Big Top Ventures. If you're considering taking an all-inclusive trip to either Mexico or Jamaica, reach out to our friends at Big Top Ventures at bigtopventuresllc@gmail.com. Once again, that's bigtopventuresllc@gmail.com. You can get the lowest rate possible on several all-inclusive resorts throughout the region. Big Top Ventures. Step right up to your next big adventure. And thanks again for listening to the Skol Hop. Skol.